shortly introduce myself and Droify. I think most people in the room know it, but still, for those who are new or are maybe watching the recording afterwards. So I'm Axel Van Quelli, Axel from Belgium, and I'm the founder of Droify. Droify is a platform that enables anyone in the world to create visual stories without having to draw themselves. It's not that we don't want people to draw themselves, but we know that a lot of people have still a kind of lack of confidence, maybe lack of time, lack of something else that stops them from drawing. And that's why we invented Droify. And it's more than a tool, it's also a community of amazing talents behind the scenes that feed the platform with drawings. And this amazing community is also so willing and so kind to share their knowledge and inspiration with all of you. And that's why we do these monthly sessions. And this month we have Jesper from Denmark, who is not only, I admire him not only for his wonderful drawings, but also for his way of looking at it. It's a little bit philosophical sometimes, and I love that. It goes beyond the how to draw something, but it really makes us think about why to draw and what it means for someone else. And that's what this session is about. Jesper, I leave the floor to you to present yourself, because I can say a lot about you, but maybe not all the things that you want me to share about you.
Maybe it would be much easier if you just did that.
So, Jesper, I give the floor to you, and everyone enjoy.
And thank you very much to all of you for showing up a late Friday afternoon. I hope you have great plans for the weekend, and I'm happy that you haven't started on them yet, but have chosen to be here with us today. So thank you very much. We will be together for about an hour, and Matt just asked what we would need for today's gathering, and the only thing is actually pen and paper, and of course your brains, which will be very much needed as well, and your creativity and your forgiveness, because drawing is just a language, and I think we have all experienced that in our time. Language can very easily offend people as well. I think language has always been able to do that, but we have been more and more becoming more and more aware of that language can actually hurt. I mean, that's old knowledge, but luckily in many ways we are being wiser in this area as well, and drawings can hurt as well. A little bizarre thing is that last time Denmark was a part of an international conflict was actually because of a drawing. We had some newspaper illustrators drawing Mohammed in different situations, and that didn't go that well, to put it mildly. So that gave a very huge diplomatic crisis around in the Danish governmental offices, which is a little bit weird because we are not used to that. We are not warriors any longer. We used to be the Vikings, but that's some years ago. So yes, so first of all, I'll start to ask for your forgiveness, and also be aware that English is my very, very much second language. So if I'm hard to understand or whatever, just ask. I'm sure somebody will help. I know we have native English speakers on board, and it's always a little bit, yeah. We will get around, I hope, one way or the other. Okay, so for the next hour, we will do a lot of drawings together, and we will also show our drawings, and we will try to have some talks about what we also say with the language of drawings, besides the one thing that we actually say, we think we have said. And there's nothing new in drawing. I mean, we have been drawing for probably just as long as there's been people walking on the surface of the earth. Some years ago, they found some old cave paintings in South Africa, and they think they're about more than 70,000 years old. And that's the oldest they have found, not meaning that we didn't draw before, but this is just the ones that they have found. A funny fact is that the first drawings the oldest drawing we know of is actually a hashtag, which is a little bit weird in many ways. Some cave people 75,000 years ago sat in a cave in South Africa, dipped their finger in red ochre and draw a hashtag on a stone which they left in a corner of the stone of the cave. I think that's a little bit funny. So we have always been doing that, and we have always been using drawings as a way to communicate. First of all, in the first years, it was maybe just a line to show that this is something different from whatever has two lines, but we have always used that. And in that way, language and drawings are both a very natural part of the way we communicate as humans. The funny part is that we learn from our parents and our teachers throughout our life how to speak and how to speak in different conditions and in different situations and contexts. But we haven't learned to draw, or actually we have learned not to draw, the most of us at least, because when we came to school, our teachers said that there was a certain way of drawing, and that drawing was not as fancy way of communication as talking. It's a little bit weird, considering that we don't know how our ancestors spoke. We are not able to talk the way they talked, but we can still watch their drawings. So actually, drawings should be more valuable than words, one could say, at least. So we use drawings every day in our lives. We have probably all been out driving in the last week. Maybe we have taken a train, or maybe we have been to an airport. And a lot of the symbols we see around in the airports or train stations around the world are the same, no matter what the language is, because drawings are international. One could say that so are some words, at least English is in many ways, in many parts of the world, international as well. But even if you come to an airport in Azerbaijan, you'll still know how to find the toilet. Just look at a picture where there's a man and woman standing next to each other, and you'll know there's a toilet. I don't know how that sign became a sign for a toilet. If you think about it, it's a little bit weird. But language and drawings have always been complementing each other, and we use it every day in our daily life. There's also a lot of great visual thinkers throughout history who have actually tried to solve some of the problems they met in their lives with drawings, and they have also tried to create shared understandings with drawings. One of the most well-known is probably Leonardo da Vinci. We have probably all seen drawings of his early inventions of helicopters and submarines and whatever he did. And he drew all that. We don't know how he spoke about it, but we can still see his drawings at museums around the world. Albert Einstein was also known for being a great visual thinker. He actually had to draw the things that was in his mind to actually get people to understand what he was talking about. Nikola Tesla, who was also very well known for doing drawings of his thoughts and through those drawings trying to create shared understandings. So it's an old thing what we're doing, and within the next hour we will also be doing a lot of things, a lot of concepts and a lot of words together, and we will try to have small talks about the hidden language or the not so obvious language behind the drawings, because just as words are biased, so are drawings. And by the way, words are literally hot air coming out of your mouth. When you speak something, it's actually just warm air, and it's very hard to grasp these words, but drawings can help them to get more specific. But there's also a danger by becoming more specific, because then you don't get all the other meanings of the word. A classic would be that if we were to draw a tree, we would probably all draw different kind of trees, thinking that we would understand the same by the word tree, but we probably don't. And that we'll try to investigate that just a little bit. So, but first of all, in the invitation, you were all asked to think of a cup of coffee. And so first of all, just because it's that time of the day, I'll ask you to draw your favorite cup of coffee. It doesn't have to be artistic. I'm sure that we will all recognize a cup of coffee when we see it, especially because drawings also only exists in a context. We'll get back to that. So let's do a little drawing. I'll share my camera on my paper, and I'll do my favorite cup of coffee. So I did my favorite cup of coffee, and it contains 2 deciliters because I'm from Denmark and we don't do espresso in Denmark. We do waste amounts of coffee in big cups. So my favorite cup of coffee is actually a very big cup of coffee, and it doesn't have to be warm. Actually, I prefer my coffee a little bit not so warm because then it's easier to drink a lot of it. So, and it's no milk. So I prefer a lot of coffee in a big cup, a little bit not so hot, and yes, and black, by the way. So what kind of coffee have you been drawing? Could you hold up your drawings and let's have a look at what you have been doing. Carl, he wants something more with cream on the top. It's Irish coffee. Oh. And Axel is for latte, probably. Yeah. And what I've got, ask Kat, what is
Just a second.
more lattes from Shanetta, I think. Or cappuccino, maybe. Maybe it's cappuccino. Yeah. So next time we are to ask somebody for a cup of coffee, now we know that we also need to ask which kind of coffee do you want? Because there's like a lot of different kinds of coffee. And that is quite easy, I mean, and not very dangerous to agree that coffee is different from person to person and taste is very much different. We have probably all been at meetings where we have agreed a lot of things. Now, after the meeting, we will go and do this and this and this. And then people actually leave the meeting and they go do this and this and this. But we don't always agree that what we agreed upon was actually what people did, because nobody asked, what did you actually mean when we were to do this? So let's try to draw something, a word that often comes up when talking about clients. A word like, we have to leave our customers with a feeling of quality, or with a feeling of quality. So could we do a drawing of quality in the meeting between people and between companies and customers? So let's do a little drawing on quality in the context of customers and business. So some of you, I can see at least Jill is starting to thinking, when did I experience quality in that meeting? So are you ready to hold up your drawings? Yes. Somebody with a thumbs up and yes, happy smile and diamonds.
Jesper, I'm not lying. I didn't look at your drawing, but I mean it.
Wonderful.
We haven't been living together, but you.
So people asking for something and actually get what they ask for. Okay, so there's already a lot of bias in this. We have all assumed something. At least if I take a look at a skeptical or critical look at my drawing, I have assumed that we're talking about the physical product. Not necessarily the true, but this is the true in my drawings. I'm also assuming that it's two people who actually get to meet face to face. I mean, the most business we probably do today is not face to face, but online. But I think we all did that, people meeting face to face and actually talking to somebody, asking for something specific, knowing what we wanted, getting what we asked for, and maybe even had a little bit of a little service about, do you need something extra? So, but this is not what the world looks like today, but that was probably what the most of us were drawing, right? So when we talked about experiencing quality in the meeting between a company and a customer, we all did a physical product, probably most of all at least, and we all did a physical meeting between people. And we also, at least my drawing also included some kind of dialogue between the company and the customer, which probably don't always occur, I'd imagine. Well, not in this way, at least. So if we were to draw a drawing where we actually drew what we experience the most of the times when we buy a service or a whatever service kind of thing, but don't buy it physical, how would we draw that? Would we draw it different? And what would we draw? So let's try to do that. A drawing where we are maybe also buying something online and experiencing quality online. Okay, ready? I hope you're all in showing in gallery view, because then we can all see each other's drawings. Okay, let's hold up some drawings. Oh, somebody, yes, a heart and a computer and screens connecting. Yes, yes, happy people on a computer screen. Yeah, somebody reaching out through. Oh, yeah, I love that. Ask at that person reaching out through the screen. Yeah. So I did something different, because very often when I go online and go for shopping, I don't buy what I initially intended to buy. I buy something different, because I don't know, very often I don't know what I need until I find out what I can get. I'm probably not the only one who thinks that I'll need A, and then I find out through the internet that you can also get B, C, and the rest of the alphabet as well. And I very often get to buy K instead, not wanting A any longer because that was too primitive. So quality in this kind of, in my drawing here, is actually more about having multiple choices and the surprise and the feeling that my underneath needs are being met. So that's another way of drawing quality in the meeting between a customer and a company. And it shows, I think we have all used that term quality in the meeting between customers and client, but it means that we actually have to ask, what kind of customer, what kind of experience, what kind of feeling are we talking about when we talk about quality? And very rare when we are having these meetings and somebody tell us to do quality, very rare we ask, what do you actually mean and what is quality in this context? Because just as words always appear in a context, so do drawings. I have never been at a meeting where a manager just walks into the room, yells out quality, and then leaves again. That would be a little bit weird, and actually a little bit fun just to try it, see what would happen. And at the same time, a drawing would never just exist on its own. That would at least be very hard to translate into something meaningful. So that was the word quality, and we all know the word, and still, and even in a quite specific context. Let's do something that is a little bit more well, different. Let's draw an idea. An idea. Just a concept of an idea. So now you'll probably, I think the first go-to for the most of us would be a light bulb, the traditional light bulb. And that would probably still work in most cases. People would understand because Walt Disney told us that this is an idea. But I don't know if you have ever had an idea that works like that, like a light bulb. Now it's there, now it's not. Now it's there again, now it's not. So maybe this is not the coolest way to draw an idea. So let's try to be a little bit creative. Are you ready to share? Yes. Something that grows, something that connects, all the dot connects in the brain, somebody watering the seed in the ground. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, small clouds growing, ideas, thoughts growing in our brains. Yes, flashes, etc. Which also is a very different way of thinking of ideas. And again, I think the most people have seen the light bulbs around. I've done a seed as well. That one kind of an idea. If you nurse it and water it, it will grow. If you just leave it alone, it will probably die out, but the seed will still be there. And if you're lucky, you can actually relive it after years. I saw a documentary on Netflix where they had found some seeds that had survived a volcano eruption, and they had been buried in lava, and they were still able to grow these seeds. And like that, there's probably a lot of ideas that have been buried in lava throughout the years, and they still have life inside them. Another way of drawing an idea could be a bomb. And I think we've probably all experienced ideas that acted like bombs in some way, and spread chaos and ravage and problems, etc. So that's a different way. So what kind of an idea are we talking about? Are we talking about a slow growing idea that will look good, but will take a lot of care and will take time to grow up? Or are we talking about a sudden idea that will rock our world, so to speak? I don't know how you have experienced, but from the way I experience artificial intelligence, that is more like a bomb, but it also has a little bit planned. It will grow up and it will probably be big, but it's less than a year since I first met ChatGPT, and knowing what we can do with that already is, I think that's a little bit a bomb idea. It's a plant that had grown very, very, very fast, and there was no gardener around to control it. So that's two different, or at least two different ways to think about ideas. It could also be small ideas that turn out to be bigger in our head. So again, it's very, very different from just a light bulb. So let's try to draw a concept like love. And I guess, again, the most of you would probably go like this, or that would probably, now you won't, I know that. But that would probably be the first illustration which would pop up in our brains to draw a heart. But let's see if we can draw something different than just a heart. Okay, are we ready to share? Somebody holding a baby? Yes. Yeah, holding each other. Oh, is that a, Paul, what is that? You've drawn a curtain or
Hidden love.
hidden love? Yes, of course. That's a very, yes. Yes, raindrops. Yes, two people belonging together like a puzzle. Wonderful. And very different stories than just drawing a heart. I've drawn a pillow, a way of showing that love to me is actually about coming home, feeling safe. Sometimes when I feel bad, I can hug the pillow, but it's also where I lay my head in the evening and relax and can be me without having to be show off and be a lot of different things. And we probably all have had that feeling when we fell in love, butterflies in the stomach. That's another way. And if we have probably seen this photography as well of two lovers sitting in the sunset watching. So that's a very different kind of love. And I don't know how the heart became the symbol of love. Well, there's probably a lot of philosophy in it as well. But if you were ever to get a love letter, which with a actually heart on it, that would probably be a little bit scary, I would guess. That would in a very primitive way look like this. If you ever get a love letter with a heart drawn like this, run away, even more if it looks like this. You don't want that. So maybe it's time to go beyond these symbols which actually don't add anything. I mean, what's the story about the heart and love? There's not much story in that. But the pillow or the puzzles or the water dripping out on the hand, then you have a personal story about your experience with love. Let's try something else if you're up for it. Let's try to draw leadership. One of the words we have probably all been experiencing, good and bad. So let's try to do leadership. One of the great things about using drawings instead of just words is that it's, from my experience at least, and maybe you experience the same, it's much more legit to ask about drawings than asking about words. asking how come you have drawn what you have drawn is much more legit than, and much easier actually as well, than asking what do you mean by whatever you just said. And maybe that's also because we consider language as more connecting than drawings. If we don't even understand the same words, what else don't we agree upon? That's the drawings is more like something that is up for perception. I've done two. I've done one where I have a little fun with the word leadership. Yes, rockets flying. I think is that, Jeanette, is that airplanes or birds? It's birds flying towards the sun. Yeah. And people walking. Yes.
It was supposed to be airplanes, but it could be birds.
It could be birds. They would fly in that way, at least if they were geese. And we have fish and people following a path, somebody going from chaos to one direction, etc. Great. A lot of great drawings. I did two. One which I think is very much on the traditional side and very much biased. One of the bias would be, or one of the thoughts would be, that I can actually see my leader. I can actually talk to her or him, and they actually know where to go. I think we have all experienced leaders who they have a title, but they don't actually have a vision. So that could be another way of one of the thoughts that is not shown in this. He might not even know where to go. The other is about just having fun with the term leadership. And actually, I don't know if you're aware of that, but leader is actually an old Scandinavian word coming from the Vikings. To leide, we still have it in German, and the Germans on board in Bundesleiter. Yes. So that actually means the one who walks in front. And so the Vikings, when they went to England back then in the days before EU and before Brexit, and the leader was the one who was in front. And that could be a different way, that leading is actually about something, wanting something, taking the risks for the team, knowing that when you are front, you're also the first to get killed. Not that the risk was that high for the Vikings visiting the monasteries of England, but still, there was a risk. So that could be a different way. Jill?
Yeah, I just had a quick thought, because when I started to draw, for me, leadership is from underneath. It's nurturing, it brings people forward. And so the visual that I had made for love, which was a watering can and flowers growing, was also one that I would use for leadership.
Yeah, that would be great as well, because that is a different way of thinking about a leader, that is one who nurtures the employees, the people you're responsible for, nurturing, giving them all the pathways to success you can get, and you can give them, and also like nurturing the grounds around them, making sure that your garden is okay, that there's that's only the flowers that are supposed to be there are there. So
it was also using the same image for two different ideas, and so that's why I thought it was interesting to bring up.
And it's a very much different story than just somebody showing the way, but that is also one aspect of leadership. And again, very rare, except when you are having leadership trainings, people ask you what is good leadership, because that is like a lot of things. Another way I saw somebody draw leadership was a finger like this. Somebody, the one who puts his hand up and say, I'm in charge, and we're going that way, and you're going to follow me, and who's also capable of putting their finger in the ground and feeling the temperature, and also raising when, oh, don't go with that. Don't do that. I think that was actually a very funny symbol as well, to use a finger, which also calls for a history. The word leadership in itself don't call for an explanation, because we all know what it is. But using a symbol or a drawing, that calls for a deeper explanation. So, are you ready for one more? I think, Petra, you suggested drawing a mother. Was that something you would like us to do now? And if I could just...
No, it was actually for the concept of love. It was just a
Yes.
suggestion.
Yeah, and that is another way of love, which is
Is that
also...
one done?
Yes, exactly. One of the people did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yes. And that's one kind of love. I'm probably not the only one having teenagers who would say something like, I love pizza, or I love a Coca-Cola, or whatever. It's a very different kind of love than the one
Oh,
that we
nice.
did before. So have you ever tried to draw I like? I try to teach my teenagers that they don't love pizza, they like pizza. I wouldn't know how to draw I like. There's not a symbol for I like, or there probably is. So that could be one for the weekend. Find a symbol for I like. A small heart? Not really. So let's do another one. Let's draw creativity. Creativity. One of the things that we all need to be creative and innovative, solving the problems of tomorrow. Yeah, but what do they actually mean? Okay, are we ready to share? Connecting heart and aim and passion, thinking out of the box. Yes, I'm on that page as well. Aligning, a lot of great ideas. Thinking wild. Yes, finding new new routes, new ways on the map. I was on the thinking out of the box thing as well. And looking for new opportunities, knowing that the idea of going out of the box, at least in this drawing, doesn't exist, because how would you do that? We don't
Jesper?
even know what the box is like.
We
So
don't
maybe
see your Jesper, we don't see your drawing. It's
Oh.
it's cliffhanger though.
that's a cliffhanger. Yes, change camera. Yes, I did this one. Yes,
Wow.
a lot of submarine. Yes, super. Thank you very much. Thank you, Excel. Oh, great. Taking a lot of ideas in your head and connect them into great, getting new solutions. So that's also, so what we have been drawing are actually different steps, or could be understood as different steps in creative thinking. First of all, you have to have these small glimpses of things somewhere, and then you have to connect them into some kind of pattern that could create new ideas. So we all drawn different kinds, or different different levels of creative thinking, from the very first small ideas into something that makes sense. And I don't know if you have ever experienced a meeting where creativity is on the agenda, and people are asking, where are we? What kind of creativity are you talking about? How wild can it be? And must it be? And are you ready for creativity, or do you just want copy of what worked yesterday? And the most people tend to care most about copy, actually. Yes, so we are getting close to 6 o'clock, and you will be off. So just a few key points for this session. And I'll just switch back my camera so we can see you again. Yes, a few learning points or a few inputs. Drawings can take the warm air out of the words and make them more specific, knowing that they won't get less biased. Maybe they would even get more biased. A straightforward example could be that we were to draw a person, and how do you draw somebody who's not belonging to a certain gender? In the last year or so, I've been asked that a number of times, and if they are to look human and not just a circle and something like that, it's very hard to make them non-gender. But being aware that this could be a problem for somebody in some contexts and be open about it is one way to solve that issue. I used to say something that I can only draw people who look like men and people who look like women. What they feel is a different story. I don't know how to draw what's inside of them and how they live their life. But I've stopped being afraid of talking about it. But I had to have a little help to be aware that there was a problem. I think I'm probably not the only one. And another key point or key learning point could be that we use the same words, all thinking that we are on the same page on the book of great shared understandings, but let's face that we are not. And drawings can help us to show that difference in perception and in understandings. And from that point, create new, better, and actually really shared understandings, or just accepting that our understandings are not shared. And then let's find something else a different way to meet and work together forwards. Drawings are also a way to learn about the world. I mean, we are 15 people right here now, and we have had 15 different aspects on concepts like love and idea and leadership and creativity. And through that, we have learned different ways of thinking and based on that, maybe even acting later on. So I hope we will all start open our eyes and use our imagination and think of different ways of thinking and drawing things. Yeah, and I think my last remark will be that remember, you don't know your coffee until you have drawn it. Yes.
And thanks, Jesper. That was really, really insightful. At least for me, I enjoyed the drawing, and it was so nice to see all the different perspectives, indeed. And because you showed already the icon that everyone would do, like the light bulb for the ID and the heart for love, we didn't go there anymore, and that was really inspiring, because then you had to think about, oh no, it can't be something cliche, it has to be something different, and then you really had to start thinking, okay, what does it mean for me? So that's really nice. It was really, at least for me, really, really inviting. And so thanks a lot, Jesper, for inspiring us today. Thanks everyone who was here to join, and thanks also for persisting, even that Zoom did something really, really strange today. And I will send the recording to everyone, because I guess some people were stuck somewhere between Zoom and this session. And maybe what would be, because the results of everything I've seen was amazing, it would be nice maybe to share it also on LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever you are active on social media, to inspire maybe some people about certain topics. Because indeed, if you see ID, everyone draws a light bulb. But if you see other visualizations of people like you now today, it was at least very inspiring to me. So if we could inspire the rest of the world with our thinking of today, please do so. And if you do so, of course, tag Droify so I can push it to the world too, and you never know. So thanks a lot. I hope to see everyone in the next session, which is not, I think the next session is about Maya next week. It will be me. And after that, it will be Andra, but she's not planned yet, I guess. Anyway, have a nice weekend. I hope it's not too stormy anymore, because it was quite stormy here around Belgium. And yeah, enjoy, take some rest. And if you have some time, do some drawing. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much, and thank you for
Bye.
nice
Thank
feedback.
you.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
You